Here we go.
Do it.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Coffin Talkin'. This week, especially, we will be unraveling the mysteries, embracing the peculiar, and finding humor in the unconventional world of funerals and death. Did you like what I did there?
It was different. It was different. I'm going, my God, look at that inflection. Listen to that inflection. Oh my
Listen to
gosh.
that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
It was fantastic.
A true star.
It was fantastic.
I can improvise.
I know you can. I kind of wish you'd stop, but there it is. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding you. No, it was very good. Nice introduction once again. Hello, Coffiners. Just putting out a little bit of a before we begin, saying that I have received a number of good questions, and hopefully we'll forward those on to Holly. So when we get back together with Scott, that we can go ahead and get those answered for you, and keep them coming because I love questions. That's how we all learn, is through questions, and so yeah, keep them coming.
Right. Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was gonna say that'll be probably one of the next couple episodes that we do, so be on the lookout for it.
Okay, great. So how was your week, Hall?
It was good. Honestly, the week was fine, but I am very, very annoyed today because I woke up this morning and my eyelid has been twitching all day.
Oh.
And I hate it more than anything.
Is it still twitching?
Okay, I took a cat nap. So no, and it's not a cat nap because I have a cat now. I just took a little 20-minute nap.
Okay.
And it is not as constant as it was.
Good.
But it will come on every couple minutes.
Wow. Okay. So sorry about that. Usually it's brought on by stress. Maybe a little bit. Like, do you feel dehydrated?
No.
Okay.
Are you kidding? Do you remember my gallon water bottle?
Yeah, I'm still laughing about the gallon water bottle. The gallon water tank.
Yeah, the tank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We call, at Boy Scouts, we used to have water buffaloes. I don't think that is any different than the water buffaloes we used to have.
Oh, no?
By the way, the water buffaloes, I think, were like 300 gallons of water. Maybe a little more. Oh, my
gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, I don't think you were carrying those around, though.
No, they were on wheels, definitely.
Come on, boys. Grab your buffalo. Pick it up. Pick up the pace.
Do it.
Only 300 gallons. And how was your week?
Good. I have still trying to work out from under the molar thing, but slow. It's a slow go, but it's going. So that's
how is the molar? What's the status of your tooth?
I finished the antibiotics today.
Hey.
And so I have no pain in it, but I'm afraid that before the 5th, the pain will come back.
Oh, because the 5th is when it's getting pulled.
Yeah, it's getting extracted on the 5th. That's correct. Yeah.
Fun times.
For you. I don't like the dentist.
Oh,
I have a real hard time with the dentist. Anyway.
I don't mind the doctor at all, but I cannot stand going to the dentist.
Yeah, and I don't know. Well, I can trace it back to why I hate the dentist. Did I ever tell you the story about my brother operating on our teeth?
No.
Yeah.
Which brother?
I can't tell you because I don't want to use names in the podcast.
Well, your oldest, one of your older brothers.
Yeah, they're all older than me.
Yeah, I know. For
okay.
Your twin, and you're what? About 2 minutes older?
7 minutes older, Holly.
7 minutes older.
Don't forget it. Yeah, don't forget it. But anyway, my brother, he was contemplating becoming a dentist. And he said, I just want to know if I can do this and work on people's teeth. Would you guys mind talking to my brother and I? Would you mind if I worked on your teeth a little bit? So here's his drill. He opened up. Have you seen these wire hangers?
Yes.
So the crook of the neck where it hangs on the
Yeah.
rod, he opened that up and made it straight. And then he asked us to open our mouths. And so I was the first one,
Oh gosh.
unfortunately. So I opened my mouth and he took that metal elongated piece of that hanger and he just started tapping and pressing on all of my teeth. And so bad, it was so bad. And I said, hey, as you're trying to talk to him while your mouth is
Yeah.
open, he let the hanger skip on my tooth and it punctured a huge hole in my gum right below where the lower jaw is.
Yeah.
So on the inside under my tongue. And so
Oh my gosh.
and it just started bleeding and stuff. And he panicked. He said, oh my gosh, we got to get this under control before mom gets home.
Yeah, of course. Wait, how old were you?
He was probably we were probably 9. That would make him 12 or 13.
I gotta see if this is a good career path for me. Open up.
I can't believe at a 9-year-old I let him do it.
I know.
Oh well, whatever. I didn't get tetanus and stuff like that, so that's a good thing.
Do you remember, is that the same tooth where you had that hole?
It actually is.
Oh my gosh.
It's finally the tooth that has to come out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, after all these years.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe it was damaged from the initial inspection or what do they call it? The initial.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Consultation.
Yeah, the consultation, and let's just see how well that tooth is holding up.
Oh my gosh.
And what's funny is I was very quiet at the dinner table that night, and my
mom
I'm
sure.
My mom looks at me and goes, "Frank, are you okay?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I was trying not to get him in trouble, and
wow.
I was just waiting for Fred to say something or my twin brother to say something. Sorry.
Yeah.
But he didn't. I don't remember him saying anything either. But geez, I'll never forget that. From that point on, anytime my mouth was open and someone was going to be probing it,
yeah, no,
it just was. It hasn't been a good idea. Not for me anyway.
Well, hopefully when you go to get your tooth pulled, they don't say, "Hey, nurse, hand me the hanger."
Hey, Frank, we're going to try a new procedure. We hope you're okay with it. But see this hanger?
It's been revolutionized.
My eyes would go really big. I'd say, "Girl, my mom, get out of here."
Yeah.
I ain't staying here. Get me out. Okay. Oh, well. Yeah, that's funny. But anyway, yeah, that's been my week, and I'm glad to actually have it over. I don't have any services tomorrow, which is a good thing, but I have tons of paperwork I have to go through. So the story I want to tell you today is a little bit, I don't want to call it weird, but it is a little on the abnormal side, and on the side of almost unexplainable. I should say unexplainable, not almost. But so it turned out that on a particular day I was called to pick up an individual at a nursing home. Now, the odd thing about this individual that was to be picked up is that he had actually died the day before. And the family took a full 24 hours to decide which mortuary to take the individual to.
Wow.
So there was that. Going into it, I just thought to myself, who in the world? And they don't do that anymore. Hospice will sometimes allow you to keep your loved one in their care for 24 hours. But most of the times, hospitals are pretty quick about, if you don't find anyone, we'll find someone for you.
Yeah.
That type of a thing. Because they don't want them lingering around again. So, and again, remember on entrance points to wherever someone passes away, Holly, do you remember what we've talked about in the past? Are they visible spots, or are they hidden? Are they, what are they?
They're hidden. Yeah.
Yeah, they're hidden. And you've been on a couple of first calls, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, they are hidden for the most part. And so that's kind of what I was looking for when I pulled up to this nursing home. A very nice nursing home, by the way. But I had gone all the way around because I knew the room number that she was going to be in. And most nursing homes have different wings with different numbers on them. So, you can kind of calculate where that room might be.
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't find it. And so I had to stop, and I stopped in the horseshoe roundabout in front of the place and walked in and told them that I was there for such and such a lady. And she said, "Oh yes, just come through that door," which was the door I just came in, the front door. Odd. Okay. Just come through that front door and then just make your way down the hallway. She's in room whatever on your right-hand side. I said, "Oh, okay." So it took a few minutes to get the stuff together. I knew the family wouldn't be there because, of course, it's been 24 hours, right?
Right.
So the family shouldn't be there. As I'm walking down the hallway or coming in, I signed all the necessary paperwork right there at the front desk. And I said, "Hey, does this individual have any personal belongings?" Because usually if the family wants you to pick up the personal belongings, they don't want to go back to the nursing home and pick them up. They'd rather you just take them with their loved one. Yeah. So they said not that they were aware of. So I said, "That's fine. That's okay." So I went on ahead and I started making my way down the hall, and I started looking at these names on the walls outside the doors of individuals that are actually residents there at the nursing home. And kind of thinking about that, and I was focused on a couple of names to the left of me when I was approaching an open doorway on the right. And I still had probably six doors to continue down in the hallway before I got to the room that I needed to be in. So as I approached the open doorway on the right-hand side, suddenly, and I mean suddenly, someone came running out, a young man came running out of that room saying, "Help my mother, help my mother." And so with my background, I just went on ahead and I just thought, "Oh, okay, I can probably help them." And I just said to the young man as I was walking in, "Call a nurse." And I walked in and I noticed that this lady on the bed, probably around late 80s, was having a hard time breathing. And also it looked like she was choking on something. And so I just gradually moved her to her side and I just started tapping her back. And then I got a little bit more forceful and a little bit more forceful. Finally, whatever was blocking her airway or her trachea or her esophagus went on ahead and jettisoned out of her mouth, which was good. Yeah. So I laid her back down and she was breathing fine. And I looked up back behind me to see this young man. He wasn't there. And I went on ahead and I just assumed that he had gone to get some nursing staff. Right. So I walked out of the room, went to my gurney and started continuing walking down the hallway to get the one that I was supposed to be there for initially. And so as I approached that room, I went on ahead and I went into the room, closed the door behind me because it's very private when you make the transfer from someone that's passed away from a bedside to a gurney. And you just don't want people walking by and looking at that. You just, it's kind of offensive. So you want to be as respectful as possible to the individuals that not only the one you're moving, but also those that might be up and walking around in the hallway. So
hopefully in this room, there was only that one person, right?
Holly, Holly?
Repeat.
All right, the episode's over. No, I'm kidding.
All right, that's enough. Oh my goodness. Also,
no, I will say there were two beds in there. There were two beds in there. One was empty. Go ahead.
If I could just interrupt, if our coffiners have not caught on already, this is the Let's Be Frank time. I may have forgotten to introduce that.
I noticed you didn't do it. And I thought, well, okay, maybe she's okay with it. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of, are you tired, Holly? Long day at school? Okay, got it. So anyway, there was something that was on him that I had questions about. And usually when that happens, it's probably jewelry. So he probably had on a watch or some rings. And the paperwork that I had signed had no indication that there was any personal jewelry or belongings on him. So I wanted to make sure that individuals knew that there was jewelry that I would be taking. So I walked out of the room and started walking back up to the nurse's station. And as I walked past that open doorway, there were, of course, two women in there helping this lady, helping her sit up And I just kind of shook my head and I thought, okay, good. She's getting the help she needs. And so I went on to the nurses station. I told them that this gentleman that I've been asked to bring into our care had a watch. I think he had 2 rings. Anyway, there was 4 pieces of jewelry. Also in a necklace. And I said, none of it's been recorded here. And you probably should record it so that if the family calls and wants to know what happened to it, you can tell them.
Where it is.
Yeah, you can tell them that it went with him to the mortuary. So after recording it and all, I went on ahead and I made it back to the room where the gurney was at, moved him over to the gurney, and then, of course, wrapped him and then covered him in our blanket, and then moved out of the facility. Again, walking by the open doorway where this lady was close, I would guess close to succumbing to possibly suffocation or even aspirating on herself or within herself, or throwing up. I guess that's a aspiration is more of it's a nicer way to say that. So I went on ahead and put him in the car, drove away. No big deal. And I thought to myself, I should go back and check on her tomorrow just to make sure she's okay. Just because I took an active part in there, she may have a few questions. So maybe want to know me a little bit. And so I just figured I would go back and talk to her just a little bit and let her know what took place. So she knew why I was in the room and why I was able to do what I did. So the next day came around, very busy day. I just remembered thinking, I may not get there till tomorrow. And one of the services that we had, and this will be another story, ended abruptly. And so I knew, and that's the reason I remember it, because I thought, oh my gosh, I can go see this lady.
Yeah.
So I got in the car, went back to the mortuary, made sure that everything was okay there, and then went on and moved on to the assisted living facility. When I got there, I said, I'd like to meet, or I'd like to just speak with the young lady or the lady that had the episode down this hallway on the right-hand side yesterday afternoon. And they said, episode? And I said, yeah, she was choking. Something was caught in her throat. I had just happened to be there. I just want to go in and talk to her, make sure she's okay. Oh, that would be Mrs. So-and-so. She's in room. And I said, I know what room it is. So I just walked in there and I said, hi, are you Mrs. Whatever, Mrs. B? And she says, yes. Do I know you? And I said, no. But I just want you to know that I was in the hallway yesterday when a young man came out and told me he had to be your son because he said, go in and help my mother.
Right.
So that's when I went into the room and I started to help you. And then I asked him to go get some nursing assistance. And so, as I was leaving, they were in your room. And so they were taking care of you. She just looked at me and she said, so why were you in the assisted living facility? I said, well, I work for a local mortuary, which is always a bad thing to say at a nursing home.
Yeah.
So, and she goes, oh, and I said, not that I'm here because of that. I just wanted to see how you were doing.
Right.
And the individual that I ended up bringing back to the mortuary is a roommate from a couple days or what do they call them? Just a couple of doors down from you on the same side. And so we just started talking. And so she said, so tell me exactly what happened. And she said, you said my son was here. She said, I only have one son. And I said, oh, okay, that had to have been him. And I was walking around, as I was looking around talking to her, she said she was very adamant in saying that it was not her son. And I just remembered thinking, and I may have even vocalized it, saying, they did identify themselves as your son. And so I can't argue with that. All I know is what I heard. So she's talking to me about her son. And I'm looking around the room when I look to my right and I see a picture of her. And it looks like maybe 2 daughters and a son.
Family picture.
And family picture, correct. And I said, hey, Mrs. B, is this your family? And she said, yes. And I said, well, how old's the picture? And she looks at me and goes, it's 2 years old. I said, oh, it's a nice picture. That's your son. That's the one that said, help my mom.
That's the one that said it.
Yeah. and she looked at me blank stare, and it's almost as though I had punched her hard enough that where her face just went completely pale. And then she started to well up just a little bit, and she said, "Are you sure that was my son?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "That's very interesting because my son was killed in an auto accident 3 days ago."
Oh my gosh.
And so I looked at her and said, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry." And she said, "That's probably why I was choking, is because I had just received word that he had passed away or had been killed in an auto accident, and I was trying to eat and trying to control my emotions at the same time." And
Oh, yeah.
so she said, "I'm sure that the combination of both caused me to not be able to swallow or hold food in my mouth. And then when I wasn't ready, it slipped down my throat. You know how that can happen."
Yeah, of course.
So as we were talking, and she said, "So what else did he say?" I said, "Well, I can tell you what I said to him."
Mm-hmm.
But I said, "I looked around for him and
That
he
was
wasn't
it.
there. He was no longer there." And she said, "Interesting thing about my son is that he would come and see me every single day."
Oh,
And I said, "Oh my gosh. So
every
you
day?
every day." And so she went on ahead and she said, "So I knew there was something wrong on the day that
Oh
on
my
the day he
gosh.
did not come by and he didn't call." And
Yeah.
I just in my mind knew that something had happened. And that's when they
Oh,
came in and told me that he had passed away. And I said to her, I said, "Well, he's still looking out for you.
yeah.
That's
He
something
saved
you
your
should
life.
Yeah, that's something you should be aware of, because he is definitely the one that came out of this room yelling, 'Help my mother.'"
Right.
and and so I think there should be some comfort in knowing that he has loved you long enough and has been willing to spend every single day with you. Maybe he's here now. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think there should be some comfort in your own mind knowing that he probably is here,
Right.
because it's those simple blessings and those simple visits that allow you to get closer to him. And if he was the type of son that you say I would have no doubt. I I would have no doubt believing
Right.
that he is here and is still visiting with you.
Yeah.
And so she kind of whimpered a little bit, cried. And so there's one thing that I can tell you what he said. And and then she said, "Well, what would that be?" And I said, "Well, first of all," he said, "help my mother." And as I walked into the room, I heard him say, and I don't know if it was a whisper or kind of just a afterthought, "She means the world to me."
Oh,
And then when she just cried, because she said that was the last conversation that he and I had, was that he left and he said, "Mom, I just want you to know you mean the world to me."
oh my
And so,
gosh.
yeah. And so when that had occurred, then everything seemed to be cemented together. She believed me. We were on the same page, recognizing that there was obviously some sort of a visit, or someone was watching over her, helping her to understand.
Right.
And I just said to her, "Your son now has become your guardian angel,
Yeah, he's your angel.
because because he specifically brought attention to you that you could use for help in keeping you healthy and strong."
Right.
So anyway, I said, "I'm not going to come back again because I don't want the taboo of the funeral home hanging over us. I just wanted
Right.
to come in. I just wanted to come in and meet you personally
Uh-huh.
and let you know that you have a very nice son, that he would be immediately looking for someone to help you."
Right.
So anyway, she was very grateful for that. I went on ahead and left, and have no idea what happened to
What
Mrs. B.
happened?
Mm-mm.
Oh man.
How much longer she lived, um, where maybe she went back home. I don't know. I mean, back home to where she was from to be closer with her other kids. I don't know.
Yeah. I
But it's
am
very,
so glad that you had that feeling that you should go visit her.
yeah, yeah. And that was, I was actually hoping to see the son when
Right.
I went to visit with her, because I wanted to just say, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you for yelling and saying get help to my mom." I
Yeah.
wanted to talk to him personally and just say, "Hey, thank you so much for the heads up on
Mhm.
your mother's health and care," because otherwise, well, I wouldn't. Why would I pay attention to what's going on in the
Right.
room? I would
Right.
have just walked by.
Uh-huh.
So it's, yeah. My main intent was not only to go see her, but I wanted to to meet the young man
Right.
that
That
caused
asked for your help.
me, to go into the room initially. So very interesting. I think it's kind of odd that you would look at, and if you want to say it's a weird experience, spiritual experience, I call it a loving experience.
Yeah.
Because that is what brought the two of us together, was another person's love, even though they were not, I guess, officially in this realm of mortality that we would call it today or not. But
Right.
someone definitely pushed through, allowing information to be spread to give her the help she needed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that story. Any questions or comments on that one, Holly?
I have a comment, and I don't want you to take offense.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you remember the show Ghost Whisperer?
Ghost Whisperer. Who's in it?
Do you remember that? Oh, what's her name? Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've probably seen one or two.
This was my favorite show growing up. And I mean, looking back, of course it was my favorite show growing up, just because of the career you have. Daughter of a mortician, favorite show is Ghost Whisperer.
Okay. I never would have put the two together, but thank you. Okay.
But anyways, her whole thing is that these people that have died come and show themselves to her, and then she like carries out their last wishes. So I was thinking about that as you were telling me this story, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if Dad has a reputation or something of like, if someone needs to get a message out and you're there, like, talk to that guy. And I know you've had a couple of experiences with people saying, tell so-and-so this, tell so-and-so this, help my mother, or with Pitter Patter.
Yep.
And so I just wonder if, I don't know, I think it's interesting.
Well, I'm going to mention one thing, Holly, besides the fact that I'm so offended.
It was a very good show. I loved it.
So yours was Ghost Whisperer. Mine was Medium.
Oh, I remember Medium.
Yeah. And so I enjoyed watching Medium every once in a while. Then it got a little weird for me. But anyway, I do remember watching a couple episodes of Ghost Whisperer, but definitely Medium. And so it is interesting. And you know what's okay? Wear it on my sleeve just a little bit here for just a moment. But as I was leaving the nursing home, all I could say was thank you. So someone that was actually directing either my footsteps or an ability to actually just say, yeah, okay, I'm going to step in there and help this person, not really realizing that what I had just experienced was not a conversation like you and I are having.
Right. But, and isn't that interesting too, that you're the one saying thank you, and I'm sure the son was saying thank you to you, and the mother was saying thank you to both the son and you for letting her know that happened,
and maybe to God too. Maybe she
you can only
she was
hope.
grateful enough. Yeah, maybe she was grateful enough too. There's so much to backstory on these stories that I think sometimes time constraints, because people get bored. And so you want to try and keep episodes to a certain time length. But man, if you have a chance, again, I'm just going to plug that book. And it's not even published yet, but there is so much backstory to all these stories that I'm telling you. If you're like me, you have to almost read it to get all of the important information put together, so you understand. I'm just giving you the high lows.
The Reader's Digest.
That's right, the Reader's Digest version. Yeah. For those of you that don't know Reader's Digest. Reader's Digest used to take long stories and condense them. If the story is like 400 pages, you could read it in 13. In 13 pages. And so that became a statement. We would say, oh, give me the Reader's Digest version. So
there were other, I'm totally blanking on it, but I remember in English class in high school, if I was supposed to have read a book and I was not to the point where we were supposed to be, I would go
Cliff Notes.
No, Cliff Notes was the first one, but then my generation, there was even a newer one, and I'm sure there's a newer one now, but same sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't remember who it is that said it, but the quote, "Writing makes an exact man." And I'd
Mm,
say that sort of thing with, like, stories and everything, it's so wonderful to hear them,
hmm.
but reading them and actually the art of writing them
Yeah.
makes you commit to it almost,
Yeah.
and commit in every single detail that's relevant.
I agree. So anyway, I hope that Mrs. B, I hope I've done you some justice
Yeah,
tonight with a story wherever you are. I know you're on the other side because
hopefully.
there's no way that you'd still be alive.
Yeah, no.
Well, I don't know. We just
How
did it
long ago was that?
probably 12 years, maybe
12 years
13.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure hope for Mrs. B's sake that she is no longer alive. Oh, man.
Is that kind of a weird thing to say?
Yeah, but these people
Uh,
that say, "Oh, I'm gonna live till I'm 100 or I'm 110." Why would you want to? Oh my
mhm.
gosh, pull the plug on me. Jeez.
Holly, we just handled a service for a 105-year-old woman.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wait, was that, like, the oldest lady? Because I just saw that the oldest lady
No.
had died.
No,
Oh,
the oldest lady, you mean
she was the runner-up.
here in Arizona? I think the oldest
Yeah.
was like 120.
What?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but
Oh my gosh.
it was much longer than I'd ever care to live.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, but they yeah, when she finally died, I just thought, oh, that's too bad. Now we got another one working their way up, and
Yeah.
we'll see what
That's
happens
why they're
there.
living.
Yeah.
They're checking every
uh,
single day,
yeah.
the obituaries column, because Lord knows they don't know how to use the internet.
Yeah. So I had they are the internet, Holly.
They are the internet.
So I have the question that I was asked. I'm not going to share it with you, but it is a very good question, and
Oh, yeah?
I'm gonna send it on to you, and you and Scott can collaborate just a little bit and see when you want to produce it or to have it discussed. But it is very good, and maybe I'll just give it to Scott.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing to have in the works.
Yeah. So again, coffiners. I know that it's coffin talking, and we haven't talked much about coffins. That's okay.
Hopefully you understand the jest.
Yeah, right. But keep sending in your stories. We're loving them, and
Yes,
we will eventually get to them. Funny or scary, odd, I don't
right.
care. Yeah,
All of
send it
them.
because I think we just got a funny story, right, Holly?
We did. We just
Yeah,
got a funny one. So maybe
yeah.
this next time
We'll
we'll
share
do
the
a
funny one.
funny one instead
Good.
of the creepy
Yeah.
everything that we've heard so far. Y'all have had some horrible experiences,
That's all right.
but we
Y'all have
love
had, yeah,
hearing them.
yeah. But no, please let us know. And if there's anything that we can do for you, I think Holly will give you the email addresses
Yes,
and how to get
of
in touch with
course.
us. So, but yeah, do
So,
you have any other comments at all, Holly, that you want to make?
no, I love that one. I think that it's so sweet, and I love when you have these little sweet experiences, those little touches of heaven,
Yep.
and you get to, communicate with both sides, living
Hmm.
and dead.
You know, a while ago, a couple of years ago, I heard a story or a talk on tender mercies, and
Uh-huh.
that to me becomes a tender mercy. And so
Yeah,
whenever you have the opportunity, for me, for instance, and I know you don't want some of these experiences become so spiritual that you don't really want to share,
right.
but people, I think they're faith building. And I think
I think so
you
too.
just need
Yes.
to know that it is occurring and that you have that opportunity. You have that opportunity
Mhm.
to have those same experiences. You just need to be looking for them and expect to receive them.
Yeah,
That's
so maybe we'll have a nice invitation this time to look for, like, the tender mercies instead of, like, shadow people or
go back,
you
man.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, focus on the positive because, well,
it's kind
little
of
baby
fun to.
miracles happen all the time.
That's right. And it's kind of fun to go back and look at the titles of the some of the episodes that we've already done and to see my twin brother said and this is maybe you coffiners are experiencing the same thing, but he actually said to me, so I looked at your newest drop and I looked at the title and I go, now what in the world is he talking about here?
Right. What would that even be in reference to?
And then to have him call me back and say, is that true?
What happened?
No, Fred, we're making them up as we go.
Yeah, seriously, send us ideas. We're running out.
And just so you know, we were going through our story count yesterday, and we have enough to push us through the late 2025.
Yeah, we're not making them up. This is
so we have a long way to go, and it'll be a fun time too.
Hang with us.
Hang with us.
But yes, on that note, hang with us, please. Thank you for staying tuned in with us, listening to another episode. Like Frank said, be sure to like, share, subscribe wherever you listen, and email us at letsbefrank@coffintalkin.com. We do also have an Instagram. The handle is just coffintalkin, and we run that account. So just send us a DM and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.